Hi friends, I'm here with a yoga offering. As always, please go at your own pace, rest whenever you need to. Feel free to skip things or change things if they're not working for you today. For this practice, we're going to use a few props. We're going to be starting in hero pose, so for a lot of bodies, a couple props will make that more accessible. A blanket, a block. You're also going to need a strap or something like that. A scarf or dog leash could work. And we'll begin sitting in hero. So that's going to be sitting between the heels, kneeling. So I'm going to recommend you do this on at least one block. Some people may want two. If your ankles are tight, you may want to have some padding under your shins and let the toes hang off so it's not too tight of an angle for your ankles. And just have your strap handy nearby so you can reach it when we get there. The nice thing about this pose, if you can find a way that it works for you, is that the pelvis is neutral. So it's a lot easier for the spine to be upright without a lot of effort for your back. So play around with this until you find a position that you can hang out in. If none of this is working, just sit how you need to, cross-legged or in a chair or however works for you. So we'll begin with arms relaxed, hands in your lap or down by your sides. Eyes closed or a soft gaze towards the floor in front of you. Start to slow down your breath. And at any time, if you need to adjust your position or change something, please do that. You don't need to suffer through. You might imagine your sit bones like 2 feet that you're standing up on. Feel the openness and evenness in your torso here. Anytime you notice that you've checked out or are overthinking, or your mind has wandered onto something else, just as soon as you notice, see if you can come back into your body, actually feel where you are right now. And some easy places to start with is, where's your body touching the floor or your props? Can you feel your breath? And then getting curious about what else is here. So you can let your eyes open, keeping a soft focus, and feel free to open and close your eyes as it's useful for you. Take hold of your strap and open it up nice and wide. You want something long enough so you can easily pass the strap over and back. And we'll do this several times. As we do, inch it in a little closer each time so we're getting to a distance that's quite tight eventually. So you can start with it long, and then if you're able, inch it in a little closer, increasing the stretch as you go over and back. Now there are ways you might avoid the stretch, like going one shoulder at a time or bending your elbows a lot. Try not to do any of those things. So we are getting in there. And the distance you end up with might be very different than the distance I end up with, and that's okay. We're just working with our own bodies. Now when you get to the shortest distance you can handle, we're going to hold it straight back at that most challenging place, right at the hump. Breathing here. If you tend to lock or hyperextend your elbows, put a little bend so you're protecting those joints. Now see if you can feel your spine still straight, nice and long. Let's release. Drop the strap down for a moment, interlace fingers in front, and put some pressure between the arms like you're going to pull them apart. This can help spread the upper back, spread the rib cage. And then release. Take the strap in your left hand, bring your left arm up, bend it back, and then right hand behind your back to grab the strap behind you. Then you can inch your fingers in as close as you can. If you're able to actually grab your fingers, you can let your strap drop. Otherwise, just inch your fingers close towards one another. Elbows are going in towards the midline and back towards the wall behind you. Now I notice if I'm deeply in the pose, the resistance increases as I inhale. So just notice as you inhale, does it become a little tighter? As you exhale, does it release a little? And then release. Let your strap drop. Lean into your left hand, and we're going to circle the right arm. Couple big circles. It may be a little creaky after what we've just done, so go as slow as you need, but try not to skip over any part of the circle. Get to your full range. Finish up the circle you're on. Come to your side stretch, reaching out through the fingers, grounding down through both sit bones. And then let your head fall towards the floor and take the right arm out and down until your right shoulder pulls down, stretching right side of the neck. Press into the bottom hand to come up. You might use that hand to help lift your head so you stay nice and relaxed. Same thing other side. Bring the strap into your right hand now. Take the right arm up, bend it back. Left hand behind your back reaches for the strap. Inch your fingers in towards one another. This side might be quite different. Just notice. Doing yoga can help bring more balance between the two sides, but there's a lot of difference, and we can maybe notice the habit patterns in our life that create that difference and even it out as best we can, but there's going to be difference, and it's okay. Keeping breath deep, even though the intensity may increase as you inhale, still take that full deep breath in. Let's release. Let your strap drop, lean into your right hand and start to circle the left arm. Big circles, reaching as far back as you can. Finish up the circle you're on, coming to your side stretch, reaching long, grounding through the sit bones. Now let your head fall towards the floor. Take the top arm out and down until your shoulder pulls down, stretching left side of the neck. Press into the bottom hand to come up. Use that hand to lift your head. Let's take a couple half circles just to even out the two sides of the neck. You can rotate your chin to your chest and then one ear towards one shoulder. Watching the sensation move from one side to the other. Next time your chin is to your chest, stay there. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Let your elbows hang down so the weight of your arms is drawing the back of the neck long. Release the arms down, head floats up. Bring your hands to the floor behind you. If you are up on several blocks, you might need to be on fingertips. Roll your shoulders back, your elbows back, and then puff up the chest. Take the chest as high as you can, like you're filling a balloon in the chest, floating it up. And then release, come up, hands to knees, round back, pull back through the chest, drop your chin. Let's release. Turn the palms to face down. Slide your fingers under your knees and press your wrists towards the floor. They may not get all the way there, just depending on your flexibility. We'll take a few lion's breaths here. So we're going to inhale through the nose. As you exhale through the mouth, stick out your tongue as far as you can. And look your eyes up and back as far as you can. Really go for it. Feels good. Inhale. Exhale. Again. Imagine clearing out all the stale air. 2 more. Big, big one. Last one. And then release. A couple wrist circles. You might imagine you're a flamenco dancer, circling the fingers and wrists. And then let's finally release the legs. I like to do that one thing at a time. So first dealing with the toes. You can move your props out of your way. Tuck your toes and then shift back so you're in a little squat. And then from there you can rock your weight front to back. As you rock your weight forward, getting a stretch through the toes. As you rock back, getting into calves and ankles, Achilles tendon. Going back and forth a couple times. And then start to walk your hands and feet away from one another, yawning open the backs of the legs. Now getting into the knees. If the knees are creaky here after that, feel free to reach back and give them a little rub. Stretching the legs straight will also help. So you can move around in any way that feels useful or interesting to you. It can be good to experiment, find out what you like, what works for your body. And then walk your hands and feet towards one another. Let's hang in ragdoll. Feet hip width apart. Parallel. You can bend your knees a little or a lot. Feel free to use support through your arms if that's useful. Elbows on thighs or hands on blocks. Let's plant the hands near the front of the mat. Step back, high push up. Come into plank pose, shoulders right above the wrists. Strong core supporting you. Feel free to drop your knees for this, especially as we lower down. To lower down, shift your weight forward so your elbows can bend straight back, hugging the sides of the body. And let's come into a back bend here. And this could be as low or high as you like. Cobra or up dog. Feel free to take it slowly. Kind of test the waters. How is this? Wherever you end up, have the shoulders back and down so your neck is nice and long. And then back to down dog. Let's drop the knees and sink back to child's pose. Just practicing that as a good option. Remembering that you can rest anytime, whether you rest in this shape or a different one. With arms out in front of you, walk your hands over to the left, and then pull back through your right hip, stretching right side a little more. and through center, and over to the other side. Pull back through your left hip, stretching left side a bit more. And then back to center. Let's lift up through table. Come back through down dog. Bend your knees, look forward, and lightly hop or step your feet to the front of your mat. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up to standing. Exhale, arms press down. Again, inhale, arms high. Exhale, fold, full A-series sun salutation. Inhale, lengthen, part way up. Step or hop your feet back, coming through high push-up, lower down, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra, and back to down dog. Please take the time you need for all your transitions. And each time you rest, choose a pose that feels like a rest for you. So that could be down dog, but it could just as well be child's pose or sitting or on your forearms or knees. Last breath here. Come back through down dog and step or hop your feet forward, inhaling, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up to standing. Exhale, arms press down. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step or hop back, lower down. Up dog or cobra. Back to down dog. This time from down dog, take your right leg up to the ceiling. Bend your knee to your chest. Start circling this bent right knee, making the biggest circle possible for your hip joint. Feeling what you're doing. Next time your leg is up, reach it straight, circle your ankle a few times, pulling the hips up and back as you do. Take your leg a little higher and then bring your right knee towards right upper arm. Extend it up and back. Take it across towards left upper arm. Reach it up and back. Right towards the center of your chest. Extend it up and back. Big step forward. High lunge. Feel free to grab a couple blocks for this. We're going to stay with hands on the floor or blocks. Make sure your right knee is right above the ankle. As you inhale, straighten the back leg a little longer. As you exhale, sink hips a little lower. Just a slight pulsing. Inhale, length. Exhale, sink. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink. One more breath like this. Lengthen. And sink. Now straighten the front leg part way or all the way as you inhale. Exhale, slow, deep bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. One more like this. Lengthen. And bend. Step back. Lower down. Up dog or cobra. And back to down dog. From down dog, left leg sweeps up. Bend your knee in and start circling. Exploring the full range of motion.
Next time your leg is up, reach it straight, circle your ankle a few times. Big circles, both directions. Send your leg a little higher, and then left knee towards left upper arm. Reach it up and back. Take it over. Twist. Send it up and back. And right towards the center of your chest. Reach it up. Big step forward. High lunge. Adjust your footing. Maybe grab some props. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink. So keeping the front leg bent, straighten the back leg a little longer. Keeping that straight, sink, hips a little lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink. Last one like this. Now let's straighten the front leg, part way or all the way. Slow, deep bend. Inhale, yawning open. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. One more like this, lengthen. And bend. Inhale, step back. Lower down. Up dog or cobra. And back to down dog or child's pose or sitting or any other neutral shape. Coming back to ease. Last breath here. Let's come back through down dog and step or hop your feet forward, inhaling flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up to standing. Exhale, arms press down. Bend your knees and come into chair, Utkatasana. Hips low, head high, shoulders low, fingers high. Feel what's going up, what's going down. Last breath here. Release, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Step or hop your feet back, lower down. Up dog or cobra. And back to down dog. Right leg sweeps up, one breath. Step forward. High lunge. Arms out. Let's come into a twist this time. Left elbow cross to the outside of the right knee for a prayer twist, or you could take hands to the floor, or left hand to the floor, on the inside or outside of that bent leg. If you would rather do this as a low lunge, you could also bend the back knee. Keep looking for length, all four sides of the torso. Last breath here. Release, hands to the floor or to your blocks. We're going to drop the back knee. If you want to pad it, you could roll up the side of your mat, or if you do have a blanket or cushion, you might put that under there. And let's come back to a hamstring stretch. Hips right above the back knee, inch the front foot forward, flex the toes back. So hands are more or less right under the shoulders as high as you need them. Going towards hip square, towards a flat back, towards folding. And if any of you want to go towards splits, Hanumanasana, you could slide the front foot forward or scoot the back knee back. Meeting your edge, where it is. And it can be very useful to keep taking the emphasis off where you get. That isn't what it's about. It's not about achieving a certain shape or making it look a certain way or results of any kind. I mean, it might be like that for you. That's not what I'm teaching. I'm teaching full expression, and when we are being fully expressed as humans, we are bound to bump up against our limitations. It's inevitable. If you're not meeting your limits, you're probably not fully expressing. So when we meet our limits, can there be ease, surrender, acceptance, patience, compassion, love? And all of that is possible without changing anything. Really? I think so. If you were in splits, or if you did slide your front foot forward, slide it back. Let's come into lizard. We're going to bring both hands to the inside, turn out through the front foot, shift your weight forward. You might come down to your elbows. You might be on blocks, and you may want to shift around a little bit. So we are looking for what's tight so that we are exploring our limits. What's possible for this body? If you want to try adding a quad stretch, reach for the back foot. And the nice thing is, when we take the emphasis off results, then when we're going towards what's tight and the results aren't what we might have wanted them to be, what they used to be, what we expect them to be, it's not a problem. Because if it's a problem, then you may not want to do that pose that puts you in contact with your tightness, in which case it's just going to keep getting tighter. Let's release. Make your way out of the pose. So we're going to come up onto the hands, tuck the back toes, come to plank height, and we'll take a side plank here. Before we come into it, shimmy your right foot a little further down your mat so that it's a little easier to open up into side plank. There's so many variations. You might stay in this variation, outer edge of the left foot, right foot on the floor. You might come into the standard full side plank, stacking the legs. You might drop the bottom knee. You might do it on your forearm. You might take the top leg and do any number of things with it. There's lots you can do. You don't have to be creative, but feel free. Feel where you are. Last breath here. Release. Make your way to down dog. You might take a vinyasa. You might just step back. Same thing other side. When you're ready, left leg sweeps up. Step forward, high lunge. Arms up. Come into a twist. Something similar to what you did on the first side. So maybe it was a prayer twist. Maybe you had arms extended. Maybe you took a low lunge, maybe a high lunge. The outer shape is the very beginning. So come into whatever outer shape you did on the other side. And then feel what's really right here. Last breath. Release. Hands to the floor or to your blocks. Drop the back knee, pat it if you like. Inch the front foot forward, flex toes back. So we are going in a series of directions towards hip square. They may not be square. Towards a flat back. It may not be flat. It's okay. Towards folding. Your hamstring is going to tell you when to stop. Please listen. It may look quite different than what I'm doing or than what you did last time you were on your mat. It's okay. If you want to go towards splits, slide the front heel forward, listen when your body says stop. If you try to slide it forward and you don't go anywhere, it means you've arrived, you're there. If this were gymnastics or circus arts or dance or something that was performance or visually based, it may matter where you get, but that's not what we're doing. I think sometimes that gets confused even with teachers. So please remind yourself often, there's nothing wrong with you. You are whole, complete, and perfect as you are and as you aren't. And my belief is that as humans, it's our job to clear what's in the way of us fully expressing, going to our full potential in all the ways, physically, mentally, creatively. And that has to include meeting our limits. And when we go towards limits, they may expand. Our comfort zone may expand. Our strength, flexibility may expand. And it may not, but even if it doesn't, we may acclimate to being at that edgy place such that it's not scary and something we need to avoid. If you did slide forward, slide your way back. Bring both hands to the inside, turn out through the left foot, and then come on down, lizard pose. If you did add a quad stretch on the other side, you can add that again. And occasionally, you may come across poses that are really good medicine for you. In which case, do them all the time. Do them often. Find the ones that are your yoga therapy, what you need. I kind of teach that. These are the things that work for me. They may not work for you. Do other things. Let's release. Come up onto your hands. Tuck the back toes, lift the back legs. You're at plank height. Shimmy the left foot back just a little bit so that you can more easily shift onto the outer edge of your right foot, right hand, and then take whatever variation of plank you did on the other side. Strong core, soft jaw, soft face. Slow, deep breath. Last one here. Release. Make your way to down dog, however you want to get there. Let's come all the way through to sitting and back onto our backs. Bring your knees in, take a little circle or rock with your knees, massaging the lower back and sacrum into the floor. And then drop your feet to the floor to set up for a few back bends. We'll start with bridge. Feet hip width apart, parallel. Feet right under your knees. Press your feet down, lift the hips up. Once your hips are high enough, interlace your fingers behind your back. Shrug your shoulders underneath you. Spreading the upper back and lower back away from one another. When the pose feels complete, take your arms out of your way. settle down and rest, and really rest. If you want to come up again, come up again. Same thing, or any other back bend. You might do half wheel, full wheel, supported bridge, anything you know or want to try. And listen for when the pose is done. So it may be 1 or 2 breaths. Could be a long hold. Whether you're back bending, transitioning, or resting, feeling what you are doing. Some days there may be a lot of energy for back bends. If today is one of those days for you, keep going. If you're done, enjoy the rest. You might take a supported bridge, just allowing your hips to rest onto your blocks or props. We are moving towards the end of class, so please do exactly what feels right for you. If you're enjoying where you are, there's no rush. When you're done with your back bends, take a counter stretch. That could be happy baby, forward fold, knees to chest, something else. Feeling what you're doing right now. Each time you finish, just check in with your body. What's needed now? Do you want to end with an inversion? Do you want to take a restorative pose? Anything or nothing. If nothing's needed, you can come right into your final rest. And what you're doing doesn't have to be anything you were taught. It doesn't have to be a traditional yoga pose. Could include some self-massage, movement, stillness. Whenever you're done, start getting comfortable in your final resting pose, Shavasana. If when you first lie down, something's not feeling quite right and you can do something about it, go ahead and keep getting as comfortable as you can. But eventually settle into stillness. You might take a couple of extra deep exhales or sighs. And then let go fully, including the control of your breath, just allowing your body to breathe without any effort.
Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, gently waking your body up again. And let this movement increase gradually through your wrists and ankles, eventually stretching out long through your arms and legs. When you're ready, bring your knees in. Roll to one side, pausing there for a moment. And use your hands to help you up to sitting. Come into a comfortable cross-legged position. Bring hands together at your heart. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or requests for future offerings.